that. So I have been trying to give Marvel a chance whenever I could, or whenever a book comes out that I'm interested, but it seems like they always do something to interrupt this story, and now they're about to do it with Doctor Strange with Secret Empire. So,
well, isn't that why? I mean, that's
probably why Jason Aaron was like, nope.
That's why the speculation from us is that they told Jason Aaron that he had to include Doctor Strange into Secret Empire, and he goes, no.
And now they've replaced him with Dennis Hopeless.
So, I mean, it's they say they want to learn from the mistakes they've made over the last 15, 20 years, but they're not.
They're repeating themselves
and they're repeating
repeatedly.
Yeah, and so they've come out and they've said that they're going to stop all these crossover events after Secret Empire, but they ruined all their chances from any of us reading Secret Empire whenever they came out and made a press statement like, don't worry, Cap will go back to being Cap at the end of this, just buy it and read it.
It's like, okay,
it's like, why the fuck do I need to read it now?
You just spoiled the ending. We
you
don't
know,
have to read
stick to your guns, man. You know, have a set. But that goes to the sensitive nature of, like, Nick Spencer has been under fire repeatedly as an artist or an author,
and he's also been being a dick about it, so he's not really helping his case.
Who else?
Dan Slott.
Dan Slott has attacked people on
Mark
Twitter.
Waid.
Mark Waid threatened to beat somebody up.
Punch a critic in the face.
Yep.
And so this article goes over all that stuff, man.
These artists are such sensitive types.
Yeah, you figured the artist would be like,
Nick Spencer did it to himself by... I'm not going to say that I necessarily agree with Nazi Captain America or what have you, but I liked the idea of it. But then him and... I don't remember the artist's name, basically just shit all over the entire concept they were doing by revealing in the second issue exactly what had happened. It's like, no, I didn't want to know that early.
Exactly, because when I first read that first issue of Steve Rogers' Captain America that I was really excited for, and at the very end of it he said, Hail Hydra, it hooked me. What? I was hooked immediately. I'm like, I want to read the second issue. And then I read the second issue, which was just like a channel of diarrhea of just like, blah, here's the entire concept, blah, here's the entire storyline. I'm like, no, you should have you should have spread it out to make me want to read it more. Because now that I know it's just the Red Skull using the Cosmic Cube to change reality, I'm like, okay, well, that mystery is solved. I guess I can stop reading it now.
Yeah, exactly. Like that, I'm fine with that being the explanation. They could have stretched that out, or obviously waited a while.
Little clues, little breadcrumbs throughout the series. And then Nick Spencer really didn't help himself when he did that thing in Sam Wilson Captain America, where he had a team of hyperactive social justice warriors as villains.
Oh god, yeah.
Like Z-level villains that we will never see again after that issue because
I'm okay with that because SJWs are villains.
I mean, it depends on who's doing what. Like, I don't fully agree with that statement because, this is just what happens. We're living in a society that is so... It's just like one feeds the other. It's the snake eating its own tail. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, like people who are complaining about the little special snowflakes, SJWs. Like, you created them, and the more they react, the more the other side reacts, and it's just more and more and more and more and more. Yeah, and it's unending.
I blame that blonde girl from Facebook. Tommy Lauren.
Yeah.
For that word snowflake. I hate that fucking word snowflake. Anyway.
You ruined Christmas, Tommy Lauren. In a weird turn of events, Tommy Lauren is the one who ruined Christmas.
She is the Grinch. Let me read this paragraph to you guys real quick about what Marvel... Does she?
Oh, I thought
Sorry,
so.
I heard boobs. Big boobs. I got sidetracked.
The Grinch with boobs.
Hey,
boobs.
Harry Green
WBS boobs.
Hey, baby. Anyway, let me read this paragraph to you guys out of this article from The Atlantic on Atlantic.com about this. Marvel's instinct with readers who do stick around, meanwhile, has been to squeeze them for all they're worth. Marvel comics tend to be priced at around $3.99 to $4.99 for 22 pages. And miniseries ship with issues twice a month. Not true. They do a couple of double ship issues, but they don't have a whole bunch of them. Digital editions are usually priced about the same. That is true. Marvel publishes around 75 ongoing series, true, along with miniseries and single special issues. DC, for comparison, made a concerted effort for the last few years to publish around 50 ongoing series and also had trouble making them stick. Sort of.
That was more New 52 issue, I think.
Cyborg, Blue Beetle, Blue Beetle just hit issue 9, and it's been out for over a year, so it's not coming out every month. Let's put it that way.
What would you say? Would you say that's bi-monthly then? So it's every 2 months roughly.
Yeah, it's more than that, but not maybe every 6 weeks. I don't know. Anyway, April alone saw 5 Avengers titled books. Then there are the crossover events, 4 of them so far this year, which interrupt the storylines of ongoing series and require readers to buy multiple other books to understand what's going on. Reading Marvel, in other words, gets very pricey very quickly, and the resulting flood of product exhausts retailers and ends up driving customers away, which is absolutely true.
Which is what I just described while reading like Loki, Agent of Asgard.
Yep.
Except it didn't drive me away from Superior Spider-Man because I'm like, look, it's only going on to 31 issues and I'm this far in. Screw it, I'll do it.
And that's the nice thing with DC though is like, yeah, they do the crossovers too, and yeah, sometimes it does interrupt the storyline, but a lot of times they keep it to a minimum though. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, very small, and they even announce it. They're like the button. If you're actually just reading, like if you're just reading Batman strictly, that's just 2 issues.
You can buy 2 issues of Flash and you have the whole thing. It's like
right.
The Lazarus contract is the only one that I've seen that has gone to besides Monster.
Night of the Monster Men.
Yeah, Monster Men.
That's just through the Batman titles. So if you have no interest in the Batman titles, you're safe.
Yeah, but it doesn't concern anything else. But the Lazarus contract is Deathstroke, Teen Titans, and Titans. But that's it. And so, if you're a Titans fan, you're going to probably be reading all those anyway.
Probably.
Or at least 2 of the 3, because I am reading 2 of the 3. I'm not reading Teen Titans.
Justice League versus Suicide Squad. The main storyline was between Justice League and Suicide Squad books, but then what were they called?
But then you had some separate ones where it actually was like Justice League versus Suicide Squad issue 1, and it was its own like standalone thing.
Yeah.
And then you had the tie-ins with Suicide Squad and Justice League, and then they ended it with Justice League versus Suicide Squad issue 2.
That's what I was going to say. Didn't they bookend that with the Justice League versus Suicide Squad 1 and 2?
No, they did 6 issues to that, I thought. There was 6. But
well, I mean, I'm just saying they bookended it with issue 1, issue 2, and then in between was Justice League issue whatever, Suicide Squad issue whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And so on and so forth until they got Justice League versus Suicide Squad issue 2. And now, with the coming of Doomsday Clock, they said it's just going to be these 12 issues. There are no crossovers, there are no one-shots, it's just these 12. No tie-ins, just these 12, plain and simple.
Which brings us to what that's something that DC is doing right. And they're learning from competitors.
They've done that before, though, with the Maxi series. Like, Justice had no tie-ins, no crossovers.
Right, and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing that they do. And that brings us to, in the article, they bring in Image Comics. Robert Kirkman, Charlie Aldridge, Walking Dead, Brian K. Vaughan Saga, Fiona Staples Saga. Mm-hmm. They sell 75 to 50,000 copies, every time they come out. And they've been ongoing for years.
Walking Dead's on almost 200 issues in.
They're huge fan followings.
Saga. How many issues in the Saga?
Somewhere, I want to say early 50s.
But they said that Saga's, I don't know, I think Saga's supposed to end at like 50 or 51, something like that.
Or maybe it's maybe it's somewhere in the 40s.
But
I don't know.
It's an ongoing story.
Yeah, it's all one story.
It's all one story. It tells a lifetime of a story. Whereas the big 2, DC and Marvel, like to reboot on a consistent basis.
Image does not.
Well, Image is still creator-owned.
Well, Image tells a story. The story ends.
Moving on. Right, but like Cody was saying, it's like Image doesn't cut into what the creative team is doing and saying, hey, we need you to do this, hey, we need you to do that, or hey, we're transferring so-and-so to a different book, because it's just Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples are working together and publishing, or Robert Kirkman, and they're publishing it on their own without any big CEO saying, we're going to have to change this, or we're going to have to do something different. That's what's great about the Image titles, is because it is consistent in its creation.
I kind of want to get back into Outcast, honestly.
Yeah, it's about time. We read the first, as a group, we read the first 2.
And it was...
I still haven't finished the second one.
Yeah.
It's good, though. I mean, it's an Image. It's also Skybound, which is Kirkman's own imprint. But
it's actually...
He publishes under both.
Reading it. So, it's going to last for at least 300 issues. And 7 seasons on Showtime.
Which, my thing, like, I'm excited to read East Meets West.
Yeah, you just picked that up.
The first two trades.
East Meets West.
Yep.
It's
Hickman.
Jonathan Hickman. It's alternate reality, post-apocalyptic Wild West. Where
nice.
Yeah,
that sounds awesome.
Pretty excited about it. But that's kind of where I'm mentally headed, where comics are concerned, is more down that road instead of the super road. But I've always been a ground level kind of guy anyway. I don't like the big supers. I don't like the Supermans or the...
Well, I think your favorite of the cosmic powered ones or anything to do with that is
Green
the
Lantern.
Lanterns. Not even just the Green
Lantern,
Lanterns, just the Lanterns in general.
Yeah, the whole Lantern story in general. But Aquaman also, just as a solo character, is one of my absolute favorites. But who's to say he's not real? We haven't explored all the ocean.
That's
and the idea with him,
we've
with
explored
DC
more of space than we have the ocean.
Yeah, we still have so much of the ocean to explore.
Oh yeah, I think with Aquaman though, it's DC's attempt. Hey, this is a character everybody made fun of or used to because of various reasons.
Talking to fish.
Well, and it's changed. They've made a conceited effort to change that. Aquaman, as DC now has him, is a total badass, which he's always been or had the potential to be. But it's literally just taking the creative team to realize it, the perfect one.
And so the thing is that how do comic book companies correct themselves? How do they come back from doing that? How do they make it right? Do they follow the image model? Marvel has no incentive to do so. They're making billions of dollars releasing movies that aren't even based on any of the comics.
That's all they care about. That's why they promote them.
And they're not based on any of the comics that they're releasing. Disney runs the studios, and Marvel runs the comics. They're not connected in any way. How do you get new readers? You connect the movies with the comic books. It's simple.
Well, the only way they're doing that is doing those little prelude books, but those are only, 2 issues?
And they have nothing to do with the movie that's actually coming out.
No. Like the Spider-Man prelude stuff?
Yeah, it's not...
But if you were to write your characters and tell the stories like you're seeing on the big screen, you'd be good. You don't even have to go back and tell the old stories. Screw the old stories. But if you were to coincide an Iron Man title post-Civil War that we just saw on the big screen, and you have that Iron Man go through and have his stories told after that, perfect. Or if you want to write Captain Marvel up until the movie, you guys have a fucking script in hand. Do so. But that's my point of view. I don't know. I don't think that there's any saving the comic industry back to the golden age of comics where kids are, saving up their quarters to go buy the latest issue of Batman. It's just not going to happen.
Not in this age of technology and live streaming and downloadable content and, stealing content from the internet. So,
Stan, wait, what?
Ha! He actually stole it from a person, not necessarily the internet.
True.
But I was more talking about people just burning movies off of whatever.
Bob Kane?
Yeah. What?
Bob Kane, what? We're talking about stealing, right?
I'm talking about watching movies without paying for it.
Pirating.
But anyway, well, thank you for joining us on Thursday. We guys hope you like the new things that we're doing. We apologize for the big music blast at the end of last episode. It just happened. I'm new. I apologize.
He's not used to dealing with all this fancy framework stuff.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. We would like to throw a special thanks out there to Rock Bottom Comics. Maher, of course, as always. Make sure you guys go check out Streamer's Guide to the Galaxy. What did they do this week? They did
The Crown and
Santa Clarita Diet.
Yes, Santa Clarita Diet.
I guess that's it, man.
Yeah. Signing out for the week. I'm Kalen.
I'm Cody.
And I'm James. We'll see you guys next week.